Drop it.
Good day, this is my astronomical diary beginning May 5, 2023, morning at my house. So the first constellation or celestial body I see using the Skyview application is the Orion. Orion is my favorite constellation pattern actually, and this is meaning Greek hunter. This is known as the prominent constellation located at the celestial equator and can see throughout the world with its brighter star that consists two, which is the blue-white Rigel and the red Betelgeuse. May 6, 2023, morning at my house. So the next one is the Cancer. Cancer is come from the Latin word crab. This is located at the northern hemisphere, one of the 12 constellations, and one of the 48 constellations listed by the Greek astronomer Ptolemy in the 2nd century. Many astronomers believe that the word crab in Cancer comes from the 12 labors of Hercules, which the crab was sent by Hera to distract Hercules while he is fighting the Hydra in the Greek mythology. May 7, 2023, morning at my house. So the third one is the Gemini. The Gemini comes from the Latin word which means twins. This is located as well in the northern celestial hemisphere. The three interesting facts about this constellation: the name itself, Gemini, is inspired to the naming of NASA's Gemini program. It is also inspired the name of the Gemini Observatory, wherein the twin telescopes are used. And the Gemini star constellation has a meteor shower called the Geminids, which is one of the most intense meteor showers which happens every year around mid-December. May 8, 2023, morning at my house. So let's have some changes. The fourth one is a planet called Venus. This is one of the hottest planet in our solar system and considered as a terrestrial planet. This planet as well has a thick atmosphere that traps the heat and makes the Venus very hot. The Venus itself has an active surface which includes volcanoes, and it spins in the opposite direction of Earth and most of other planets. May 9, 2023, morning at my house. So the next one is the Capella. Capella is one of the brightest stars in the night sky and a brighter star as well in the constellation of Auriga. This term comes from the Latin word which means sea-goat, and like many other stars, Capella appears to be a single object, but it is actually a multi-star system. This is considered as a yellow giant star, which has the primary members designated in the Capella A and Capella AB. May 10, 2023, morning outside of the house. So the next one is the Arcturus. Arcturus is a red giant star at the northern hemisphere and one of the brighter stars in the constellation Bootes, which means the herdsman. Arcturus is also the brightest stars that can be seen from Earth. Many astronomers believe or say that Arcturus will end up as a white dwarf at the end of its lifespan. May 11, 2023, morning outside of the house. So the next one is the Ursa Minor. This is known as the Little Bear and one of the 56 largest constellations in the sky. 7 of its stars form the Little Dipper asterism, which visible throughout the year in most of the northern hemisphere. It is most important star in Polaris, or also known as the current North Star. May 12, 2023, morning outside of the house. So here's the second planet, which is the planet Mars. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun and also known as the Red Planet. Mars is well named after the Roman god of war, and it has two moons called Deimos and Phobos. It has a thin atmosphere that made up mostly of carbon dioxide, argon, nitrogen, and a small amount of oxygen and water vapor. May 13, 2023, morning outside of the house. So the next one is the constellation Leo. The constellation of Leo represents a lion's head and considered one of the youngest recognized constellations. According to many astronomers or experts, the best season to see Leo constellation is in the spring equinox. The brightest star of this constellation is called the Regulus, which considered as well as the 21st of the brightest star in the night sky. May 14, 2023, morning outside the house. The next one is the constellation Virgo. This was considered as the second largest constellation, and one of the simple facts in Greek mythology is it represents both the goddess of justice and the goddess of the harvest. The main stars of Virgo form a lazy Y shape, which the constellation brighter star is called the Spica and located at the base of the Y shape-like appearance. May 15, 2023, afternoon at PLV. So the next one is the constellation Pisces. It is come from the Latin word which means literally fish. Two interesting facts about this constellation is due to its fairly large constellation, most of its star composition are faint, which means they are not brighter than the fourth magnitude, which make it challenging to look at the sky with our naked eye. The next one is the constellation Pisces represents the mythical fish that appeared in the story of Aphrodite and her son Eros, which they were saved from the monster typhoon by these two fishes. May 16, 2023, afternoon at PLV. So the next one is the second of my favorite constellation pattern, which is the Ursa Major. The Ursa Major is one of the third largest constellation in the sky and the largest constellation in the northern hemisphere. It is known as the Great Bear, which includes the Big Dipper asterism and is one of the most recognizable collection of stars in the northern hemisphere. May 17, 2023, afternoon at PLB. So the next one is the constellation Sagittarius. This is the zodiac sign of mine in the birth month of December. That's why I am happy to discuss this. So the Sagittarius is known as the largest constellation in the southern hemisphere and known as well as the fifth largest constellation overall. Unlike the constellation Pisces, this constellation has many bright stars which make it visible with the naked eye. The Sagittarius represented an archer drawing his bow. He is depicted as a centaur or a man with the body and legs of a horse. And in the Greek mythology, the figure was thought to be a satyr or a man of a horse ears and tail mounted on horseback. May 18, 2023, afternoon at PLV. So the next one is the constellation Capricornus. The Capricornus considered as the 40th largest constellation, which sits among the other constellations of the water genre, including the water bearer Aquarius, the whale-like sea monster Cetus, the fishes Pisces, and the river Eridanus. It is best viewed during the month of September at 9 p.m. May 19, 2023, evening at the Venezuela City People's Park. The next one is a star called Vega. The Vega is one of the brightest stars in the northern hemisphere in the constellation of Lyra. This is classified as a main sequence star, which appears as a brilliant white with the naked eye. This is important for the astronomers because they can learn more about our solar system, and although both the Sun and Vega are on the main sequence star, the Sun is about 10 times older than the Vega star. May 20, 2023, evening at the Venezuela City People's Park. So now let's proceed on the one and only our natural satellite, which is the moon. There's a trivia here that did you know that the blue moon happens when there is an extra full moon during part of the year? But it isn't usually blue in color because it is a rare occurrence that only happens every few years, or like what the idiom says, once in a blue moon. May 21, 2023, evening at the Venezuela City People's Park. Now let's proceed in this planet called Saturn. This planet, also known as the gas giant planets, and one of the planets that has rings. Interesting facts about this planet is you cannot stand in this planet because it has no surface due to its gaseous composition. It's very windy on Saturn, and you can see the planet Saturn through a telescope. Saturn has a moon bigger than Mercury, and the Saturn has more moons than any other planet in the solar system. May 22, 2023, evening at the Seniors Garden of Valenzuela P Park. Now let's proceed in the one of my favorite constellations so far, which called the Aquarius. Aquarius is a watery constellation which universally associated with water, and in most cultures, it is drawn as a man pouring water from a bucket, which may arise from the fact that the sun enters Aquarius early winter when the rainy season begins in many parts of the world. In most myths, Aquarius is also identified with Ganymede, or the cupbearer to the gods. May 23, 2023, evening at the exit section of Valenzuela P Park. Now let's proceed in this planet called Jupiter. This planet is the fifth planet in our solar system and considered as a gas giant planet. Jupiter covered in swirling clouds type, and it has a big storm like the Great Red Spot, which has been going for hundreds of years. Jupiter is a gas giant and doesn't have a solid surface, but it may have a solid inner core about the size of Earth. Jupiter has a ring as well like Saturn, but it is very faint to see it very well. May 24, 2023, evening at the exit section of Valenzuela P Park. Now let's proceed on the planets. Nope, not a planet, but on a star called the Sun. We know the Sun is the hottest star ever that we can see by our naked eye at the sky. It is classified as well as a main sequence star. There's a trivia here that did you know the Sun isn't yellow? It is actually white. It appears yellow from Earth because of our atmosphere, which tints it yellow. May 25, 2023, evening at the Jeepney Market, Karuhatan. Now, let's proceed on the constellation Aries, one of my favorite constellations as well. The Aries is a mid-sized constellation that are not particularly luminous, but they have only few stars that are visible to see. The Aries constellation is located in the northern hemisphere. Its name means the ram, or simply a goat, which means the symbol for the constellation, and it represents a ram's horn. The constellation Aries is usually associated with the story of the Golden Fleece in Greek mythology. May 26, 2023, evening at the MacArthur Highway. So the next one is the constellation Taurus. This constellation is one of the most noticeable constellation and one of the oldest documented constellation. The Taurus is famous of its red giant star called the Aldebaran and a star cluster called Pleiades. Taurus represents a bull and is one of the most magnificent and interesting constellations in the sky. In Greek mythology, the god Zeus turned himself into a bull to carry Princess Europa off to the island of Crete. May 27, 2023, morning using the sky space virtual format. Now let's proceed on the constellation Libra. It is come from the Latin word which means weighing scale, and this is one and only constellation named after an inanimate object rather than a character or an animal. Libra is located in the southern sky and has been a strong influence in mythology, astrology, and hard science. May 28, 2023, midnight using the sky space virtual format in Skyview. Now let's proceed on the star called Sirius. Sirius is called Alpha Canis Majoris, or also known as the dog star. This is the brightest star rather in the night sky and one of the closest stars to the Earth. This is a binary or double star, and Sirius is also one of the 47 stars of celestial navigation. It is the alpha or brightest star in the constellation of Canis Major, which located in the southern hemisphere. May 29, 2023, midnight using the sky space virtual format. Now let's proceed to the constellation Scorpius, that I think one of the scariest due to its stories behind. Scorpius is located on the southern constellation or hemisphere. It is best seen in the summer season, And one of the notable stars here is the Antares, particularly to the first magnitude. The worst thing about this constellation is this constellation Scorpius represented the scorpion itself who stung and killed Orion. May 30, 2023, afternoon at PLB. Now let's proceed from second to the last thing I found using the Skyview application in my astronomical diary. And that is the Hubble Space Telescope. This telescope has a lot of contribution outside of our planet. And one of those is the most iconic images is of this portion of the Eagle Nebula or the M16 that dubbed the Pillars of Creation. It shows three huge columns of cold gas illuminated by light from a cluster of young stars with strong stellar wind located out of view above. May 31, 2023, afternoon at PLV. Now, let's proceed to the last thing I found using the Skyview application, which recorded in my astronomical diary. And that is the ISS, or also known as the International Space Station. This is considered actually as one of the artificial satellite that could send outside of our planet. You know, one of the facts about it, the ISS is the largest structure that humans have ever put into space. In fact, it's so large that it wasn't launched in its entirety. That's why it was sent up in pieces and then constructed in orbit. Now, I hope you learned something from almost 27 days that I record my astronomical diary. Thank you and bye-bye.